Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. Our bodies move to the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. We get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Feel the air getting standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
Flying into your home like a 1930s train wreck. From the brand new VNL 860 studios. Creating a community of friends and topic-based discussions. This is JJdrones Live.
I'm Karl Marx and I approve this message.
And it's JJdrones Live. Welcome to the train wreck. Thank you everybody for coming in today. We have got Ted from Off the Hook Outdoors. We got TJ, Giggles FPD. We've got baby girl Haley Johnson, Robert Mack Media, and many, many more that are going to be coming in tonight. So hold on to your hats. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And when I say it's a train wreck, oh man, yesterday was quite the train wreck for me. But before we get to all that, let's just start out by saying, if you would like to have one of your videos featured on my website, email me, Jason at JJdrones360.com. And for everything JJ Drones related, go to JJdrones360.com. And if you're going to do some shopping, go to my Amazon links, JJdrones360.com/Amazon1, and help out the channel by using those links on my website. And if you are going to submit a video for Blinker Flute of the Week, email dandroningveteran@gmail.com, and our spread shop is now open. It's jjdrones.myspreadshop.com. We have all of your favorite merchandise ready for sale. We've got JJ Drones. We've got Blinker Flute of the Week. We've also got Welcome to the Train Wreck. All of that and more to help support this program. Thank you, everybody, for coming in today. Like I said, this is the train wreck, and I appreciate all of you for being here. Hey, Paul C., thank you so much for being here. Hey, Dave from Gotta Love Thailand, thank you also for being here. And I just wanted to remind everybody that we are now monetized, and we do accept super chats and super thanks and all the super things that YouTube likes to put out there. So if you want to help financially support the program that way as well, you can go ahead and do that. Every single penny that we make is going to go into the show. And as Brian said, they're super. So if you can, if you feel like it, that's great. If you don't, that's also great. I'm just glad to have you here. And today is going to be kind of a rant and kind of a not rant, but informational. Hey, Tony, thank you so much for being here. And we're kind of waiting for Dan to come in because Dan's running a little bit behind because of his work schedule. But before we get too much further, let's just bring in our co-host for this evening. You love him. Well, I kind of was yelling at him before the show because he was showing me some really good food on the menu. His name is Brian, and he's part of Cheesehead Media.
Hey everyone. You want me to keep giving you those photos, Jason?
No, that's all right, Brian. I appreciate the offer, but I don't think it's safe to be drooling onto a laptop. In fact, right before we went live, when I started the timer before the show started, the whole computer just absolutely froze up. So I didn't know if we were going out to the public or if everything crashed or what the heck was going on. But I think it's because you were showing me a bunch of tasty taco treats, and I was drooling over my laptop. I'm sorry.
Me too.
But Paul, thank you so much for being here. I know that Paul is on his way down to Dallas. He sent me a picture today out there in Phoenix, Arizona. So drive safe on your way down to Phoenix. And if you're in the greater Los Angeles or San Diego area and you are ordered to evacuate, please do. We don't really need anybody that's going to be floating down a river that's not in good conditions. So before we go much further, and it kind of ties to that, Brian has had a friend pass away this past week. So Brian, condolences to you, and if you'd like to share a little bit about your friend here, please do so.
Oh, sure. His name was Bob Hook. He lived in Galesburg, Illinois. Gentleman lived to be 94 years old, but just really one of the friendliest people in the world. And I was down there yesterday, visited with family, and as I was telling Jason, I think I'd be remiss to say I'd be half as lucky.
I lost your audio, Brian.
And
oh, it's back.
Okay. He was in his man cave watching trains go by. His daughter stopped by, see if he needed anything to eat. She was going to go to a restaurant, pick up something to go for the two of them. She came back, and he basically just fell asleep in his favorite chair, doing his favorite activity. You know what? 94 years is a long time, so I'm happy for him. You know, I know it's a time you should be sad, but man, he went the way we all should. You know.
So, you know, he lived a very, very long life, and so that definitely it means something. And the fact that he has friends like you and all the people that came down to see him on his last days, that really means something. It shows it's a credit to him and the way that he lived his life. So that's just amazing. And you know, prayers to his family, and you know. I'm glad that you were able to make it down there because I'm sure it meant a lot to his family.
Yeah, there were three of us that drove down from Racine. I had friends that drove down from friends of mine and his from Beloit. I think after the visitation yesterday, there was about 30 of us that gathered at his house.
Okay.
So, and that was just, you know, our group. And actually, when I say his house, I should say his man cave, because he had two houses.
Right.
This is the one he'll let us, a lot of us hang out at. So, you know, to have 30 people ranging in age from teenagers to, now there are some guys there that were retired. So, you know, 50-year span of age ranges that he, you know, just enjoyed his company, and vice versa, you know. It says a lot about the gentleman and the company he kept, and it felt, it was more of a party I hate to say it, it sounds weird, but that was really the attitude everyone had was just happiness and memories, and it was cool. I've only experienced that at a funeral once before for a long time ago. So that happiness attitude about it was really really refreshing. You know, it wasn't the sad downtrodden feeling you usually get. It really was a celebration. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Crossover Paranormal Society, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you being here. And we are going to celebrate the fact that we have another week of Blinker Fluid of the Week. And Brian, what is our flavor today?
carne asada.
We got carne asada, Blinker Fluid of the Week. So let us get into our Blinker Fluid intro. And Dan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Sorry.
So if you see Dan's hat, that is the Blinker Fluid of the Week hat, and you can purchase that through the website JJdrones. Or I don't even remember.
Makes a good hat, though.
It is. It's JJdrones.myspreadshop.com, and it should be in the underneath the description of the video. I don't know. I just work here.
Thank you, Haley.
Yes, thank you, Haley. So Dan, you know this is the carne asada flavor.
Carne asada, huh?
And
What is it?
right-
Spicy? Or are we
Oh,
doing
of
the
course.
spicy or mild?
oh, we're going spicy all day.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to check.
So we have our Blinker Fluid of the Week segment firing up right here. And you can't see my head.
Nope. There you go.
You remind me of the
Oh, wait, you better put that back.
What did you say, Brian?
So you remind me of the girlfriend Caddyshack dancing.
Number one. Oh, what's this guy doing? Okay, so this was me, and Logan was driving at the time, and this guy actually decided that he was going to pull off onto the shoulder. That was
What?
fantastic.
A wise decision on your part.
Yes. Oh, Brian, this is yours.
Oh, I know this one. Yellow light. One car.
Pink.
Car. Three car. Hey.
It was
Yep.
pink.
It was pink.
It was pink. Yes. I think Brian's getting picky like you, Dan.
Yes. This one was interesting. So I was training. So we're in a box truck. And this guy just pulls into the exit. Like, doo-doo.
Well, that's USIC. They're allowed to go anywhere they want.
Oh, of course. This one was, I was also training. And, yeah, that wasn't a left turn for the little gray car.
It wasn't.
And then the other one ran a stop sign. Oh, yeah, number 5 bonus. Is this one 5 or 6? Well,
I think
is
this
a
one's-
good one.
Oh, yeah. Oh!
Oh, totally legal.
I mean, just make a U-turn wherever you want. Oh, I saw that one coming.
Oh, I'll just turn here. Semi don't need to worry about me.
No, gosh, no.
I mean, luckily I was turning right too.
Did you stop and pay a visit and ask if they wanted some dinner or something?
I thought about it, but he sped away too quick.
Oh, okay. Poll is up in the chat as we speak. You can vote for your favorite 1, 2, 3, or 4. And if you want to vote number 5 or 6, all you have to do is put number 5 or number... Yep. Hashtag 5 or hashtag 6.
Nobody knows what the number sign is anymore. It's all hashtags now.
Right. So TJ says Jason is going to have to bring some with him to the SFDM if he's able to make it. I'm sure everyone would love a bottle. And then Paul says, my U-Haul says speed kills. Is it really speed that kills? Well, that is a very good question, Paul. And we're going to actually bring up a topic that may have some sort of connection to deadly roads. And I don't know if anybody is aware of this, and you would only be aware of it if you were a trucking geek like me. But we're going to go through some of the proposed rules by the FMCSA. Now, if you're unaware of who the FMCSA is, the FMCSA is the organizing body that makes sure that all of the truck drivers in the country are following a specific set of rules so that everybody is safe on the road and everybody is healthy and happy and having a good old time. Dan loves the FMCSA.
Yeah.
He has a T-shirt at home that says "I love the FMCSA," right next to the ones that says "I love trees."
Mm-hmm.
Now, question.
Yes.
I know you guys call it the FMCSA. Was it your organization originally called the MCSA, and truck drivers gave their own meaning to the F portion of it, and then the company organization adopted it?
It may possibly be correct, okay. Brian. I think that may be correct. And if you are deaf, hard of hearing, or have a speech disability, please dial 711.
Is that like Braille on the time machines?
That's okay. That's like Braille on the roads.
I probably should redefine that. You know what a time machine is. I know I do. Probably no one else does. And because I'm old, I'll have to explain it.
Okay.
The debit card organization that was in Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan were called Time. TYME.
Yes, TYME.
Yes. And every bank had them. There's signs. It says just... And it's a time machine. It's like a bubbler. People come around here.
Well, Brian and Dan, Dan, do you know about this rule change proposal?
I do not.
Okay, so this is going to interest you as well, and Brian, this is going to interest you as a member of the motoring public more than it is a truck driver. The FMCSA proposes to increase flexibility for state driver's license agencies and commercial driver's license applicants by expanding applicants' ability to take a CDL skills test in a state other than their state of domicile, permitting a commercial learner's permit holder who passed the CDL skills test to operate a commercial motor vehicle on public roads without, that is the key word, without having a qualified CDL holder in the passenger seat.
Wow.
Oh, and it gets better. They're also going to eliminate the requirement that an applicant wait at least 14 days to take the CDL skills test following initial issuance of the CLP. So let's just put that into layman's terms. Now, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, in their infinite wisdom, decided that they were going to allow 18 and 19-year-olds to start driving truck interstate. So you could take somebody who is 18 years old right out of high school, take them over, get them to pass the written test, immediately take the skills test, pass the skills test, jump into a truck, and drive from Florida to Washington State in the middle of January.
Yep.
Brian, your thoughts?
And he's from Florida.
Well,
Yes.
I'm going to have two. I have a couple of thoughts on this. And first one, the first line where it allows you to take the test in a state other from where you reside. That one I can actually kind of see, and I'm going to say that in the, you live in Quinnipiac, Michigan, across, right across the border from Wisconsin. Does Quinnipiac have a DMV? No. Does Iron Mountain do across? That one kind of makes a little bit of sense for these more. It'd be like Superior, Duluth, that sort of thing. So that one I get. The not having any training, that one, or not having a qualified person in the passenger seat, that one scares me a lot. Sorry. I know, and I don't know if you follow him, Jason. There's a lawyer that's on YouTube by the name of Steve Lato. He actually just touched on this topic with driver's ed in high school. If you take your learner's permit and you take driver's ed, at age 16, the requirements are different than from when you're age 18. And what Michigan is doing it. They're trying to, bring driver's ed back into high schools and then make that qualification be just as strict. Because right now, if you're 16 and get your driver's license, it's a lot harder than doing it at 18. And a lot of kids are just waiting till they're 18 to get the easier requirements. And that's not good at all. The other side of this, and Dan, I'd like your opinion on this. You're in the military. You take kids that are 18 and you put them in an M1A2 Abrams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or some of the, after graduation, the college degree, you put them in, $1 million aircraft. So if you can prove that you're responsible at a young age, I don't really have a problem with that, but you do need to have that training there. And I think there should be a minimum number of hours that you do that, and especially, a skills, like driving in snow. I mean, I know how to do it. I'm sure you two know how to do it because of where you live, but someone in Florida, yeah, I know. I'm not too happy about that.
Dan, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm kind of in the same boat as Brian. But yeah, there's 18, you can go die for your country at 18. Why can't you drive a truck? But definitely, you can't just get behind the wheel and, just go pass a written test and have your learner's permit and be driving all off on your own. I know people that's done it before, but...
Well, and here's the thing, Dan and Brian, and I'm going to start off by saying that the entire rule that they're making about flexibility for state driver's licensing is complete hogwash, because I got my CDL in Wisconsin and then I went back to Michigan. Not a problem. I trained for Prime. All these students came in and they got learner's permits in Missouri, they got driver's licenses in Missouri, and then they went back home to their home state and they got their licenses just changed over to their home state. So that one is just a non-starter because they're already doing it. They've been doing it for eons and eons and eons. They're finally just going to have it written down into a rule, and then one of the states are going to not make as much money as they were making before. Let's just put that one out there. The other rules that they're going to adopt are pretty much straightforward, simple ones. They also wanted to do a requirement that there's a rule here that says that you don't have to have a passenger endorsement in order to move a bus or any sort of vehicle that transports people if there's no people on it in order to do a tow away operation. So that's more for like tow truck drivers. And then something about requiring the third-party testers to meet the same standards as the federal testers. So, I mean, all of that is basically, knowledge that we should already have. But the biggest thing is the drivers that are 18 years of age with not having any other person in there. Now, here's where I would allow, or here's where I would agree with the FMCSA on this rule. Let's say you're a truck driver, you've been driving for 20 years, and then you let your license lapse for a year and a half, okay? So when you let that lapse, obviously you have to go through the training again. And back, I think it was last year, they put a rule into place that if you're going to get your CDL, you have to actually go through a truck driving school, okay? And so with that truck driving school, that costs money. It's in the thousands of dollars. Some it can be $3,000, some it can be $5,000. All depends. So they put that rule into place basically as a payment to the trucking schools. But so here's the thing: if you let it lapse and you've had 20 years experience on the road, then yes, if you take the written test, you take the skills test, you should be able to go out without a trainer after you take the skills test. That would be the only way that I would accept something like that. Now, if you lost your CDL because of drunk driving, if you lost your CDL because of reckless driving, whatever, a lot of that is going to be contingency based, and that would be like a case-by-case basis that the FMCSA would have to go by, but they're not going to do that because it's too much work. Now, with these 18-year-olds, I know what they're getting to. They're trying to perpetuate this truck driver shortage that is just a laughable reason to do it, because there is no truck driver shortage. And you can go to any truck stop in any city, in any town around the country at 7 o'clock at night, and all of them will be full. And some of them will have parking spots available, but it's only because the truck drivers that are parked there don't know how to park into a parking spot and don't know how to back up, so they're parked along the exterior of the parking lot because they can't back in. And a lot of the guys that sit and use the fuel island as their half-hour break spot stay there because they don't know how to back into a parking spot. So we already have a really, really bad group of drivers out on the road, and now you're going to introduce even more. I think that this is just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, they can. I mean, I'm not, there's 18-year-olds that can, I went to combat with 18-year-olds. They just graduated high school, showed up to the unit 3 months before we deployed, and, they're 18, 19 years old, already in combat. So, I believe there are certain 18-year-olds that, shouldn't have a license to begin with, but there's also some 30-year-olds and 50-year-olds that shouldn't have a license to begin with either.
Oh, I'm not going to disagree with you, Dan. I'm not going to disagree with you.
And I also know that, a lot of it is too, one of the reasons that they was lowering the age is truckers, or a lot of, the reason they was going to lower is if by the time somebody reaches 21, usually they have another job, and then their trucking's not an option, or that they don't want to go to trucking, so they figure if they lower the age. I can kind of see it. I can kind of not, but
well, the biggest thing that I go back to is that 22 or 23-year-old trainer that was training another driver from Sierra, England, that ended up going to a bar, getting drunk, and then killing a guy with 4 girls, up there in Lance.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and you know, there's a lot of problems with the younger generation, and the younger generation of today is not the younger generation of Dan's time or Brian's time or my time. The younger generation of today is more interested in playing video games and smoking weed. And that's, I mean, you can take any poll out there, and there's going to be a majority of younger kids that are into that kind of stuff. And how they pass, you know, the drug test to become a CDL holder, that's a whole completely different question. But the entire thing with letting them go without a trainer is ridiculous, because and these aren't going to be the people that are going to be going to the carriers. These are going to be people that are going to the independents that have 2 or 3 trucks, and they throw them the keys and say, "Here you go, have fun. You know, we're gonna send you off to Boston, or we're gonna send you off to New York City, or because that's where these carriers go. They don't go to the middle of Nebraska, because that's not where the money is, and it's really hard to get drivers that go into those places, because it's a very difficult place to drive. And if you go into a place like that and you don't have a trainer and you don't have experience in there, you're going to get yourself either hurt, or you're going to get somebody else hurt.
And, well, actually, you have a prime example coming up.
Are you talking about Logan?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That video is going to be coming out Wednesday.
Yes.
Let's see here. Ted says, I had my CDL through school I worked for, and there was hardly any training. I had to know the parts of a school bus and take a test at the bus garage. There are people out there that shouldn't have one. Absolutely. We run into them day after day after day. I mean, that's why the title of this live stream is the new proposed rules by the FMCSA create more blinker fluid content. So, Dan, I'm going to put you on the spot. Why are you in bed with the FMCSA?
Why? Oh, no, I'm not in bed with them. Like, maybe it's a little cuddle to.
You're just trying to get some more content for
Yes.
Blinker Fluid of the Week. And so you called up your buddies down there at the FMCSA, and now they're helping you out.
They are. They're good. Speed dial.
Oh, okay. And Brian, you're my second source, so.
You know, I it is the training portion of it that's really got me. That's got me scared. The age doesn't do it. The crossing state lines doesn't do it. It's the lack. But you mentioned though that there is a requirement for. I guess if I'm understanding you right and reading this right, I could go through driving to school, go down to go up to Fox Valley, Texas, where I probably would go. Take all the training, pass the written, pass the actual ride check, and someone can hand me the keys and I can just go. Is the way that this is written right now, without any additional knowledge whatsoever. I mean, it's like my motorcycle endorsement. That's exactly what we did. I had my temps, took a class at the Harley dealership for 3-4 weekends in a row. Did my whole ride check right there in the parking lot, and went to the DMV, gave them a piece of paper, and walked out with a letter M on my license. Am I understanding the rules that's the way it's written?
Yes, that's exactly how the rule is written. You can get it all done in one day. So how many truck driving schools are going to go out there and they're going to advertise, get your CDL skills test and your driving test done in one day, and you can be on the road in your shiny new Peterbilt, hauling freight and making $80,000 a year.
Yeah, I think that's the white Volvo mafia, but
Yeah, you're probably right. Hey, Drew, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you being here. Very important topic. The FMCSA is putting a rule change out for the U.S. as far as brand new drivers go, and also experienced drivers as well. I'm assuming, you know, people that have let their CDL lapse. But just basically saying you can take your written test and your skills test all in the same day. And then once you get your permit, you are off to go out there and drive truck all by yourself. And that is a huge, huge issue for me and Brian and Dan. Tony even says some truckers can't even speak English nor read English. And that is true. And that is part of the, it's like right in one of the first couple pages of the green book that we all have to carry, says you have to be able to read, write, and understand the English language. And that's not something I'm going to go to on this live stream, but you know, there are a lot of people that have brought that up with that being an issue, because you know, you got to be able to read the road signs. And if you can't read the road signs, that's a problem. And if you can't read what's going into your truck, that's also a problem. And you also have to figure, I mean, the only other thing that is they're not changing, that I'm glad that they haven't even tried to change yet, is the requirements for hazmat. So you know, when they get into dealing with hazardous materials, hopefully they never get into that point. But you know, that's a big thing. TJ says, I wonder where they get their licenses. Oh, I know where they get them, out of a cereal box. Yes, that is absolutely true. But this is a huge problem. It's a huge problem, and I'm bringing it up because I want you guys to spread this around. Let people know that this is something that's happening. Hey, Slane, thank you so much for coming in. I do have some information, and Haley, if you want, you can put these in the chat, or if not, you guys can come back and look up this information. There is going
to get the licenses from.
There they are. Yes, right there. There's going to be public comment for the next 60 days from the time that the rules were published, and I can't give you an exact date. It looks right here, January 15th. So 60 days from January 15th is public comment, and I highly suggest that if you do public comment, just don't go on there and be like, you guys are morons. Go on there with a cogent and a logical argument as to why you would oppose not all of the rules, because not 3 of the rules actually make sense. The only one that makes 0 sense is dropping the requirement for the 14-day period, because as a trainer, because I trained at Prime and I got the people with their permit after they passed the skills test for 4 weeks. During that 4 weeks, I taught them how to properly drive the truck. I taught them how to back up into a spot at a truck stop. I taught them how to back into a door at a customer, so on and so forth. I taught them all the things that they needed to know in order to do the job. Now, that doesn't mean that they've learned everything, but that means that they've learned enough that they can actually pass the skills test and go on and be with a trainer, because you don't learn everything in a matter of 4 weeks. But then after that, they go on for more training, because that's what they need to do. They need to get more training, because you're not going to be perfect after 4 weeks, nor are you going to be perfect after 50, 60,000 miles. But I mean, it gives you a good building block. But if you take that completely away, you're going to run into a situation where you're going to have a whole bunch of drivers that are inexperienced, that are going to be clogging up roads, that are going to get into accidents, that's going to kill families. It's not a good situation. I don't care if they're 18, 25, 30, 45, 50. I don't care how old they are. They need to have some form of training. So now, for public comment, you can go onto that website and follow the instructions. If you don't want to go on the website, there's a mailing address. The mailing address is right there. It's Dockets Operations, U.S. Department of Transportation, 1200 New Jersey Avenue, Southeast, West Building, ground floor, Washington, D.C., 20590-0001. And just put in the docket number. I will actually go and put the website address in the chat so that you can pull that information up as well, because it's important that when you go in and you argue this point, that you know exactly what you're arguing. And if you want to refresh your memory, let's see here. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to paste that into the chat. So there, and that is the, oh, I guess it doesn't like it. It's too long of a, it's too long. Gosh darn it. All right. So what I am going to do then is going to put it into a banner. And you can actually just, it doesn't even work in a banner. It's too long. So if you want, just Google proposed rule changes for the FMCSA. Proposed rule changes for the FMCSA. And if you need a refresher on what you're actually looking to argue. And if you do fax, the fax number is right there, 202-493-2251. And the only reason why I'm putting all this information out there is because I feel like it is important. Now, Dan and I had something scheduled this weekend, and I think that a lot of it had to do with the fact that we already have so many bad drivers on the road. Now, the state of Wyoming, and Dan, you can agree with me or not, but the state of Wyoming is horrible in the wintertime when it comes to snow, winds, ice, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And what we were supposed to do yesterday.
We're just going to go have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you wanted to stay in Wyoming.
I see how it is. No. So I left on Friday, and then Saturday I made it to the Travel Centers of America just outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I parked there because they had shut down the highway due to the winter weather. Now, on Sunday, I got up early in the morning, and I noticed that all the roads were open. All right, cool. Let Dan know when I'm leaving, and I start heading out. And I stop and get fuel. Everybody is parked everywhere because that's what happens, because there aren't enough places for trucks to park because of that driver shortage. Anyways, there's not too many. There's not enough room for people to park. And so I get my fuel, I leave, and then I get just outside of Laramie, Wyoming. And I had to message Dan. And I said, Dan, I can't go anywhere.
Yep.
And he found some pictures, and I should have uploaded them to the computer, but I did not. If Dan can do that, or if Dan
I don't have them uploaded, but
oh, you don't? Okay.
But I might. I don't know. Let's see.
I know that I've got them here on my phone, and Brian, if I email these to you, can you put these up real quick? Or is that a hassle?
No, just send it over. And
Yeah.
I was, and if anyone wants to know why there needs to be training, read about it's 1990. Yeah, I think it was 1994, so it'd been 30 years ago now. Read about the Willis family and what happened to them in Milwaukee from a driver in Chicago that did not properly do his daily walk around. I don't know if you remember that, Jason, or not.
No, why don't you tell the story?
So it was a reverend, his wife, I think they had like 12 kids, but they had 6 of them with them in a Chrysler minivan. and they were going on 94, just coming up to, we refer to as the Mitchell Interchange. It's where 894 splits off to the west and 94 heads towards downtown. And the taillight assembly fell off a semi-truck. They drove over it. It punctured the gas tank. The van burst into flames before it was even stopped. The mother and father were able to get out, but unfortunately they lost 6 of their children. An investigation of that found out about a whole bunch of corruption in the CDL departments of, especially in and around Chicago. Surprise, surprise. But in the end of it, at the time, the Secretary of State, and now at the time was, last name was Ryan. I can't think of his first name off the top of my head. He ended up becoming governor. And as this investigation continued over a number of years, that's what sent him to prison. But it was just a really bad thing. But that comes down to, they found out that this person who was driving really never should have had a license. He kind of bribed his way through the system. And yeah,
Not really surprising though. It really isn't.
Not at all. Because if he just walked around the truck like he was supposed to, he would have seen that taillight assembly was no longer attached, and it wouldn't have been a problem. The event never should have happened.
Right. I emailed you those pictures. There's 5 of them. Now, what happened was when I was coming down the mountain, just outside of Laramie, I was stopped, and they had closed the I-80 again, because what happened was there was, and this is all speculation. I don't have any details officially, so just take this for what it's worth. Me just seeing the aftermath of the accident, but there was a prime truck flatbed in the left-hand lane. Prime, don't ever be in the left-hand lane. Just stay in the right lane at all times. You do slower than everybody else, you remain in the right-hand lane. That should be the new proposed rule from the FMCSA. Anyway, so the prime truck was in the left-hand lane. It was a flatbed truck. And then there was a owner-operator from Michigan who had jackknifed. And the only thing that I can basically guess is that they were going too fast, and then somebody they were going too fast. They saw the prime truck. It was too late for them to slam on the brakes. And when it came time to slam on the brakes, they were pretty much done. So that was the reason for that stoppage. And let's see here. Brian has got, there you go. So this one is the picture of Laramie. And there is the line of trucks just sitting there on the highway waiting for the okay. And now this was Sinclair. So I got done with that stoppage over in Laramie. And then as soon as I got past all of that, I went over Elk Mountain. Elk Mountain was dry. It was clear. It was absolutely beautiful. Even the variable speed limit sign said 85 or 80 miles an hour. So I was sitting at 70 miles an hour, cruise control, enjoying life. Let Dan know, hey, I'm coming. We're going to be flying. It's going to be a great time. And then I hit Sinclair. And once I hit Sinclair, I said, hey, Dan, I don't think I'm going to make it.
Yep. Well, he goes, I can't remember exactly what you said. He said, you stopped in Sinclair. And I'm like, forced stop or not, or a break. I was like, I was hoping he had to take a little, take care of some business really quick and
do some paperwork in the restroom.
In the restroom and
yep.
Be on his way. But no, didn't happen that way.
It did not.
Look, there's Jason.
That looks
Almost.
Similar to me, but it's not me.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't have the cool trailer.
Well, I know, but it was kind of like the sun's coming in, so I was like, yeah, maybe, but
right.
Because I was looking through all the cameras trying to find you, and I couldn't.
The cool thing is Wyoming has all these webcams on the side of the road, so you could actually see all the trucks lining up. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But that is where the end of the line was when I was stopped just outside of Laramie, and so that was probably from. How far do you think it is, Dan, from Lone Tree to the bottom of the hill there in Laramie?
It's not that far.
About 10 miles?
Something like that. It's not too terribly far.
Yeah, it doesn't look. It's really not that far. It's probably about 10 miles. So there's probably 10 miles worth of traffic. But this one over here, okay, so that's Laramie as well, and that is at the bottom of the hill. But yeah, it was nasty, and I believe that it is from an inexperienced driver. And FMCSA, if you want a rule, here's a rule. I'm giving this to you free of charge. Okay, you ready? Dan, are you ready? Brian, are you ready? If you want to drive in the weather, you have to have a winter driving endorsement. What do you think?
I like it. And then guess what? I'm not going to get one, so I don't have to.
You know this. I don't think anyone watching knows this. In high school, I worked at the Pilot truck stop. A lot of my friends decided to work fast food. I decided to work at a gas station. That was the nearest gas station. And you'd be surprised how in January, a guy would get out of his truck, and this is long before all the computer stuff you do now. They actually had to pick up a phone, call in from the fuel island, give me their info for me to turn the pump on. And a guy would get out wearing shorts and a shirt, run inside to give me everything in person that we needed to know. And he says, "Oh, wasn't this cold when I left Birmingham 2 days ago? Did you not know where you were going? You drive truck for a living. Did you not realize that, north of the Mason-Dixon line, it gets cold?" So, yes, I am all for a winter, not just a driving permit, a common sense rule. Well, we had guys. Do you guys sell jackets? No, we don't sell winter coats here. Sorry.
Well, they sell the winter coats over at the truck stops now. I mean, they sell everything at the truck stops.
Well, yeah, we had like sweatshirts, but that was it.
Yeah. So here's my proposal, that we have drivers actually go through a training program that they learn not only how to avoid jackknives, so they would have to go through they'd have to go through skid pad training, so they learn how to get out of jackknife, and they go with a period of time with the trainer in the winter on how to get through winter driving. I'm not talking about going through something like a video game that the companies call a simulator, because that's all it is a video game. You actually have to go out and get real life experience driving in the winter, and if you don't get to drive in the winter, because I can tell you right now that you had a long line of trucks that were doing 25 miles an hour on the interstate. And let me tell you right now that I always say, do not drive faster than your ability. But if you're doing 25 miles an hour in an interstate that is normally 70 miles an hour, stay in the truck stop, wait for it to open up a little bit more. The next thing, I was also doing 45 miles an hour because that was my ability. That's what I felt safe driving. And I was being passed by Sierra England. I was being passed by Prime. I was being passed by Leonard's Transport. I was being passed by a number of the big motor carriers, because I don't know if they don't care, if they don't think it's as serious as it is. I don't know what it is. You need to slow down. You have to drive for the conditions that you're in, and you have to drive to your ability. But if you're driving too slow, you're a danger. If you drive too fast, you're a danger. There's a middle ground that you have to find. And that that Prime truck in the left lane, I guarantee you he was driving too slow, and that's why that owner operator hit him. But that owner operator also shouldn't have been driving as fast as he did. Again, speculation on my part. I don't know exactly what happened, so I'm putting that out there right now. And and there we go. DIY American. Thank you. Drive responsibly.
Yep.
That is the biggest thing right there. Drive responsibly.
And I'm a firm believer too, and people probably scold me, but during certain conditions of the road, there should be a mandatory speed limit. Wyoming puts out 45, 35 or whatever, and nobody goes by it. But I think if somebody is driving too fast for the conditions, first offense, automatic suspension of license for a month.
I agree. And Dan, you said nobody follows them. I do.
So, well, very few people, I should say. I mean, I follow, if somebody, I drive slow as hell in the snow. Not super slow, but, and then I keep my following distance, just like, Logan does. Logan did really good. I was very impressed with him on his on the video a couple weeks ago.
In the world of railroading, we have a rule, General Code of Operating Rules, G-Corps, and Rule 6.27, in very short terms, it says you must be able to stop within 1/2 your range of vision. It's a much longer rule, and I'll forego all of that, but the basic, and at the end it says never exceeding more than 20 miles an hour, but the rule itself is you must travel at a speed not to exceed 1/2 your range of vision. So if it's foggy and you can only see a 1/2 mile ahead, you better be able to stop your train at a 1/4 mile. And I'm really surprised that the FMCA doesn't have something similar for truck drivers.
Well, and they do. They have rules on what you're supposed to, or what your following distance is supposed to be, and they give training videos all over the place. And every major trucking company has the training video showing you exactly how fast you should drive on every single condition there is. Drew asks, have you guys heard of the Humboldt tragedy a few years back when a semi hit a bus full of hockey kids in Saskatchewan? I vaguely remember that, Drew, but I do believe that it was inexperienced drivers. And let's see here. Paul's just a bad driver overall. He hits buffaloes. So thank you, Ted, for putting that reminder out there. Paul says, I would have passed you, more weight, more hammered. No. Drive responsibly. That's the biggest thing. But if you're not going to drive responsibly, just park it. Because there's a lot of people that, want to go home to their families at the end of the day, like our friend Tony. He definitely does. Drew was trained to drive to the road conditions, and we may get many different conditions there. And he lives up in Canada, so he gets like some of the worst winter conditions compared to what we get down here. But the biggest thing is that we're going to have a whole crew of drivers that are not going to have the experience the drivers have today if this rule goes forward. So definitely go on to the FMCSA's website and go into their comment section of the rule change proposal and let them know that it is not a good idea to let people get their permit, go through the skills test, and then go without a trainer exactly or the same day that they get their skills test passed, because they need more training than just taking a skills test. I mean, even after training with me, Logan is still calling me to ask me questions, so your training never stops. Mm-mm. And the day that you think you know everything is the day you need to quit driving truck. Okay.
I learn something new every day, and I didn't know a damn thing when I got out of school.
You still don't.
I still don't, but hey.
But so that is the reason that I did the live stream today, and I'm sorry that I didn't do the live stream yesterday. I wasn't able to make it because of weather problems and everything else, and I was so frustrated by the end of the day that I just could not. I couldn't just sit here and put everything together. So next week, we're going to be talking drones. We're going to be talking about the problems with the DJI Mini 4 update. And then Brian's got some information on, Brian, what do you have to share with us next week?
Oh, it's going to be on all the changes in the Before You Fly app or apps or whatever it is that they've done. I'm still trying to figure it out. I literally stumbled on it in the middle of the day yesterday.
And then we're going to dive into a little bit more governmental wonderfulness by exploring why the federal government has banned the use of DJI drones in federal and state governments around the country. That's going to be a lot of fun.
What are the 9 most useless words in the English language?
I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
That's correct.
Thank you. Dan, do we have any number 5s or number 6s?
I have one number 5. I think. Yep. I've only seen one.
All right. Well, then we have a clear winner this week. No ties. So that's actually really good because I think we've had a couple of ties in the past couple of weeks. But our Blinker Fluid of the Week winner of this week is... Oh, come on. Number 2.
Number 2. Oh.
Number 2, you winner of the County Asada Blinker Fluid of the Week. Brought to you by Sadie the Sleeping Spaniel. And hopefully we will get Sadie the Sleeping Spaniel back next week. Hopefully we'll get a picture of her with the JJdrones bandana around her neck. So that's going to be really cool. Oh yeah, and you can never forget the driver in Colorado that got 100 years for killing a bunch of people and then got his sentence reduced to 10. But we're not going to get started on that because it's only an hour-long show. But we're going to start off. With Brian, and Brian, the last words for the night.
You know, everyone, just the people in your life, whether you talk to them every day, once a week, once a month, once a year, just check in with them, especially those that you don't talk to often enough, because you never know when they're going to be gone.
Very nice. And Dan?
Yep, that is very true. And I am sorry, I didn't hop in on the to give you a condolence. I mean, I talked to you on the via text, but give you a condolence. But I didn't want to hop in the middle when you was going over that sad story.
Appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, just drive safe, have fun, do something fun. Don't sit and twiddle your thumbs. Get out and fly.
Don't stand up, one of your best friends, in Utah by wanting to stay in Wyoming.
Yeah, they stayed in Wyoming, and then I had to do housework.
Oh boy, yeah. And thank you, TJ. I appreciate it. Explore with Drew. Thank you for being here. Paul C. Thank you for being here. Don't crash. Ted from Off the Hook Outdoors, thank you for being here. Jenny or Dave from Stormy Sky Real Productions, thank you for being here. Tony and everybody, thank you so much for being here tonight. It was, it's a very important topic, and I think if you forget any of the information, please come back and watch the show and find the area of the live stream where I put up all the information. Go and be part of the public comment, because if we don't comment negatively towards it, then they're just going to push it through. And let's go out there and show them that we care about having safe roads around the country. I appreciate all of you for coming along for this ride with us, and we'll see you later on down the road. Bye, guys.